have to apologize for still demobilizing. A lot of emotions, people are tired.
The crew leader of the team who found remains of the Titan Submersible nearly broke down in tears as he looked back at the moment the rescue effort turned into a recovery operation. Ed Cassano, CEO of Pelagic Research Services, held a press conference on Friday, where he outlined the timeline of the Titan search and described how the team discovered debris from the submersible. He says his team was contacted by OceanGate just after the submersible lost contact on June 18. He says his team was asked to use its deep water remotely operated vehicle system Odysseus 6K for the mission and says at the time his crew was, quote, prepared to rescue Titan. After transporting the ROV for several days, it started to go down to the Titanic wreckage site on June 21st and reached the seafloor after 90 minutes.
Shortly after arriving on the seafloor, we discovered the debris of the Titan Submersible. Of course, we continued to document the site, and by 12 o'clock, sadly, our rescue turned into a recovery. I have to apologize for still demobilizing. A lot of emotions, people are tired. During this period, upon arriving on site, we have to point out that the U.S. Coast Guard Incident Command reached out to the families of the Titan crew upon our discovery of the debris. A very important communication.
Although Cassano is very proud of his team's recovery efforts, he says he is saddened by the situation.
I think there's a lot to learn. I think we're very proud of the performance of our system. It performed. Our team performed. It actually achieved the mission at hand. We're very saddened we couldn't recover a viable site. But beyond that, the system performed. Down the road, there are certainly things that we'll think about, but we haven't had time.
He also says his team hoped that the sub would be intact at the bottom of the seafloor.
We felt we'd be faced with 4 potential scenarios. Of course, the scenario we wanted was Titan just lightly on the seafloor, the crew intact, the pressure vessel intact. That would have made the sub slightly negative or maybe slightly buoyant. What we did is we tied a lifting mechanism into the center core of the vehicle, which we could not detach. Right? The sub was not being tracked. They lost tracking and communication, which we didn't know where it was. And subsea navigation and knowing where you are is essential for safe operations. We were tracking our vehicle. So once the plan was to grab the Titan. And once grabbed the Titan with our manipulator, then we had it. Then it was going to be attaching beacons. We were carrying extra beacons, so if we lost her, other assets could track her. And then we were going to attach this heavy lift capability to the sub.
During the press conference, Cassano admitted his team is still reviewing the sequence of events and asked everyone to, quote, respect the depth and range of emotions of those involved. While answering questions, Cassano described the effort that was made to find Titan and revealed another vessel was lost in the rescue attempt.
It was clearly, when we arrived on site, we were the primary identified asset to effect rescue. There was a fleet of ships. We came in next to a ship called Deep Energy, an industry ship. Their vehicle was at 2,700 meters. They were not capable of going deeper. But I want to point out that Deep Energy had 2 ROVs. Prior to our arrival on site, they had sent 1 ROV to seafloor beyond their depth capability. And it unfortunately mechanically had an issue. So that is just the scope of the effort. They lost a vehicle trying to get to seafloor.
The press conference comes 2 days after debris from the Titan was brought to shore, 1 week after it imploded while on voyage to see the Titanic wreckage. The debris was found near the bow of the destroyed Titanic. In the photos, crew members are seen lifting scraps off the vessel onto the port. Some of the remnants included the nose cone with its distinctive circular window. The Titan was destroyed in a, quote, catastrophic implosion during its June 18th trip to the depths of the ocean to explore the Titanic wreckage. 5 men were on board the submersible. On June 22nd, OceanGate shared a statement obtained by NBC News saying they believed all passengers had been lost. Later that day, the Coast Guard confirmed they discovered debris from the missing vessel on the seafloor.
An ROV, or remote-operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan Submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time. Additionally, we've been in close contact with the British and French consuls general to ensure that they are fully apprised and that their concerns are being addressed. The outpouring of support in this highly complex search operation has been robust and immensely appreciated. We are grateful for the rapid mobilization of experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew.
Titanic director James Cameron weighed in on the tragedy for the first time last week and emphasized the diving community's emphasis on safety and pressure testing of vessels.
I've made 33 dives. I actually calculated that I've spent more time on the ship than the captain did back in the day. And of course, as a submersible designer myself, I designed and built a sub to go to the deepest place in the ocean, 3 times deeper than Titanic. So I understand the engineering problems associated with building this type of vehicle and all the safety protocols that you have to go through. And I think that what Bob said, because I was watching, is absolutely critical for people to really get the take-home message from this, from our effort here, is deep submergence diving is a mature art. From the early 60s, where there were a few accidents, nobody was killed in the deep submergence, until now, is more time than between Kitty Hawk and the flight of the first 747. So if we haven't improved over that period of time, we have improved drastically over that period of time, and the certification protocols that all other deep submergence vehicles, except this one, that carry passengers, especially paying passengers, all over the world in tropical waters, deep coral reefs, other wreck sites, and so on. The safety record is the gold standard, absolutely. Not only no fatalities, but no major incidents requiring all of these assets to converge to a site. Of course, that's the nightmare that we've all lived with, since all of us entered this field of deep exploration. We live with it in the back of our minds. But because implosion, as Bob described it, such a violent event, is first and foremost in our minds, the pressure boundary, which is what they call the hull of the sub, that the people go inside, is obviously first and foremost in our minds as engineers. And we spend so much time and energy on that. And we use all the computerized tools available today, finite element analysis. We worked on our sphere for our deep vehicle that went to the Challenger Deep for over 3 years, just in the computer, before we even made the thing. And then, of course, we pressure tested it over and over and over, and so on. So, you know, this is a mature art, and many people in the community were very concerned about this sub, and a number of the top players in the deep submergence engineering community even wrote letters to the company saying that what they were doing was too experimental to carry passengers and that needed to be certified and so on.
The filmmaker also told NBC News that he saw a connection between the tragedy and the actual Titanic sinking.
I'm struck by the similarity of the Titanic disaster itself, where the captain was repeatedly warned about ice ahead of his ship, and yet he steamed at full speed into an ice field on a moonless night, and many people died as a result. And for a very similar tragedy where warnings went unheeded to take place at the same exact site, with all the diving that's going on all around the world, I think it's just astonishing. It's really quite surreal.